With NAIC coming to a close, unfortunately we were subject to a Gardevoir mirror match in the finals, but seriously, congrats to Isaiah Bradner on finally taking down his IC, it was well deserved. However, unfortunately it was Gardevoir, which was the deck that came out on top. Grimthy Snarl was unable to put that deck just quite in check, not enough, and Tord was, he was prepared for everything except for nothing, which ended up being a pass. So today we're going to be going over the top 5 decks of the current meta, and how the meta is shaping up in the near future as well as we move on to the Worlds format. But for now, let's take a quick look at what these top 5 decks are. The top 5 decks we're going to be taking a look at today is Dogbox, Grimmsnarl, Raging Bolt, Gardevoir, and Dragapult. This is how the decks are ranked on Limitless right now, with Dogbox being 5th and Dragapult being 1st. However, I'm going to be swapping around Gardevoir and Dragapult because I do think that Gardevoir right now is in a better position than Dragapult is currently, and Gardevoir is just insane, man. I hate that I'm saying it, but the deck is just really good. It has won so many of the recent majors, and it does deserve to be number 1 right now. So, moving on to the top 5, the 5th place would be Dogbox. So, Dogbox is the 5th place deck thanks to its versatility, and honestly it does have some pretty good matchups. The good matchups being Grimmsnarl and Dragapult doesn't seem too bad. On paper it's a pretty decent matchup, and it also just has a lot of options going into all these matchups. If we take a look at all of its different attackers, we see it has Flareon, it has Sylveon, Leafeon, it has Terapagos as well, and Clefairy. Like, the deck has really good options going into whatever matchup you need it, and that's why it netted itself a 13th place at NAIC. I'll put the name up of the player on screen right now. Congrats, and I think, was it Bodie Robinson? I think it might have been Bodie. Congrats, Bodie. If it wasn't, shout out Bodie, I guess, because that was the first name that came to mind. But Dogbox is just a great deck thanks to its versatility, and I do think that Grimmsnarl being so prevalent in the meta right now is a good reason for this deck's success, because it has a really good Grimmsnarl matchup, but thanks to Gardevoir being so high up, it does kind of put the Dogbox in check, because our Gardevoir matchup isn't great. This is probably my favorite deck on the list, because Terapagos and Noctowl Supremacy. So the future of this deck, I'd be saying this deck might not be consistently in the top 5 decks at all times, but thanks to its ability to adapt to the ever-changing meta, the deck will always be represented. As of right now, this is the better way to play the the Terra Box engine, and I hope that it does see continued success in the near and distant future, because I just really like the deck. Shout out to the dogs, and to the one person in the comments saying it is Fox, I don't care. It's a dog. Up in 4th place, we've got ourselves Grimthy Snison. So Grimthy Snison was the chosen one, the one sent to destroy the Sith. Gardevoir is the Sith, not join them. He didn't really join them, he just didn't do his job very well, because in the top 32 there was only 2 Grimthy Snisons compared to like 4 trillion Gardevoirs. But shout out to Piper Lepine and Tim Franklin. I keep thinking his surname is Danklin, but it is Franklin. Shout out to those two, because they were able to pilot this deck to the top 32 finish, and Piper Lepine was even able to get top 8. She finished in 6th place, so congrats to Piper. Unfortunate on the draws in that top 8 game is against Isaiah, but losing to the person who won the event in the end isn't too bad, I guess. Grimthy Snison is a pretty good deck. This was his debut event, and top 8 for his debut isn't bad. And honestly, the hype that it got was good. Like, I do think this deck is really strong. It's currently on my list of decks to prepare for Worlds, because I'm really enjoying the deck. The deck, it might seem a little bit linear with its lack of attackers, but the creativity this deck awards is great because of the Monkey Dory Frostlass combos, and you can put techs into the deck like the Devo, like the Maractus, and cards like that to help finish up and checkmate kind of board states. And Grimmsnarl's attack is really good. 180 plus 30 spread basically is pretty good. Like, especially when paired with triple monkey and double frostlass, you can be moving hella damage counters around during your turn and ticking into your opponent's turn. So this deck is positioned well into the meta, and it does have, I'm pretty sure, the highest win rate against Gardevoir. I think that being like a 64 or a 63, something like that, % win rate against Gardevoir, and that is something you love to see as a deck. If you have a good matchup against Gardevoir and a decent matchup against Dragapult and Raging Bolt, you're a good deck. So Grimthy Snison is on my top 5. He is sitting at 3rd place, and I'm really excited to to try and play this deck more in the future. Like I said, this was Grimstyle's first major event. I think we can all agree that the deck has great potential, although it has some glaring weaknesses. It might be a little linear in the sense that it lacks attackers. It does not lack creativity. The deck will be sticking around for the foreseeable future to keep Gardevoir in check. And not just that, I think it does have real potential just moving into the future even after Gardevoir rotates. I think this deck is going to be good. It has a built-in energy engine, and we've seen so many cards like this have success. Even mid cards like Arcaladon saw success thanks to its ability to just accelerate energy. And this card being able to accelerate 5 energy, you can pair that with energy switches and stuff. So I'm sure this deck will be seeing a lot of play in the future. It might not be the exact Frostlass build. We might be seeing a more straight Grimstyle build with other attackers and other cards in the deck. So I'm sure we will be seeing a lot of Grimstyle in the future, and Mr. Snarlison is here to stay. Moving into the coloring corner, Raging Bulk. I know that joke is overused, but it is true, and they deserve it. I'm sorry. To all Raging Bulk players, I do love you guys because there is a Noctowl in your deck, but I don't love you guys because the only terror you have is your draw engine, basically. So the deck has and always will just be there. It is the current format's Mew VMAX. It is an easy deck to play, but really difficult to play well. Unfortunately, with the deck being so linear, it's really easy to play around. However, the good thing about the deck is that it's so consistent in executing its game plan. Sometimes you know what's coming, but there's just literally nothing you can do about it. It is a really well-oiled machine that says, I'm going to hit you for a lot of damage, and there is nothing you can do about it. So against decks like Grimmsnarl and like Dragapult and stuff that have to evolve into these higher HP stage 2 attackers that can't really one-shot you, Raging Bulk can do well. Like, it doesn't have a terrible matchup against these decks. The problem is that it doesn't have a good matchup against Gardevoir and against a lot of these other smaller decks. So the problem is that it does lack this, the one prize attackers. Like, sure, it has Baby Bolt and sure it has Slitherwing, but these attackers aren't really these high damage output attackers into the format that it does currently need right now. Raging Bulk it's a good deck. It's always going to be mid, in my opinion, but it can always have these standout performances every once in a while. And if the format ever moves to, I'm pretty sure this next format with these Mega EXs, this deck is actually going to be really good, right? Like, being able, your job is to do a lot of damage. And now that these Pokemon just have a lot of health and give up 3 prize cards, you would love to just go, good argument. Unfortunately, Bellowing Thunder 3 prize cards, and next turn, Bellowing Thunder 3 prize cards. So I genuinely think Raging Bulk can, like, become a contender for, like, that top spot in the future with the Megas being printed, just because of its massive damage potential. Moving on, we've got Mr. Dragon Catapult, Mr. Second Place, Mr. Gaudy Got Me Kept on a Leash. Unfortunately, I love Dragapult as a Pokemon and as a deck. It is just not good against Gardevoir. It is just, excuse my language, Gardevoir's bitch, right? Like, that's just how it is. It's got like a 35% win rate against Gardevoir right now. But the problem is that it just, but the thing is that it has multiple variants, and the only one that has a decent matchup against Gardevoir is Dragapult Charizard, and that deck just has worse matchups against other decks, like straight Dragapult. So, Mr. Second Place has been BDIF for a while now. However, it just hasn't been able to pick up many wins. That doesn't mean the deck is bad. In fact, this deck is incredibly strong, and the only reason it's not the best deck in format is because Gardevoir is currently keeping in check, and Gardevoir needs Quad Monkey, Clefairy, a higher HP attacker like Gardevoir, and one prize attackers with Bench Snipe, and other one prize attackers that could just one-shot Dragapult anyway. That is it. That's what it needs to deal with Dragapult, like to keep Dragapult in check. So looking at that, like, there's a good reason for Dragapult being second, because without Gardevoir, it would ruin this meta. So the only thing I can say is thank you to Gardevoir for keeping this dragon in check, but I don't want Gardevoir to keep this dragon in check, because I would rather have Dragapult being the best deck in format rather than Gardevoir, because all Gardevoir does is slap down 4 Monkey Dories and say you'll go. But regardless, we'll get to my Gardevoir rant in a moment. Unfortunately, Gardevoir isn't going anywhere anytime soon. The deck is still great, so Dragapult will probably just sit in second place for a while. The deck will always be played, however. 3 of its variants are currently in the top 10 decks, being Straightpult, Bombpult, and Zardpult. The card is incredibly strong with a built-in draw engine. Any deck that has a built-in draw engine again will be good. Like, look at Zoroark. Zoroark, everyone thought it is dead, and then it got piloted to a top 8 finish by Cameron Shinoy. Shout out Cameron. He came to South Africa for the SBE and got top 8 here as well. But yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's a good deck. It's a really good deck. Has a built-in draw engine, has probably the most powerful attack in current format, and it just has so much potential. And if we look at all of these variants of Dragapult, it is a very splashable card. So I'm sure we might even be seeing a new variant of Dragapult that finds a way to beat Gardevoir in the future. So right now, I'm hoping we'll see this deck rise to the occasion at Worlds. However, there is a chance it rises to the occasion after Gardevoir rotates. Otherwise, it's just going to probably fall back into relevance, just how it began with just being an overhyped deck. Moving on to the final deck, the number 1 deck, I'm going to take away my webcam because I want you to see this beautiful artwork I have created with Monkey Dory and Gardevoir. It is Monkey Dory with Gardevoir, not the other way around. This deck is a Monkey Dory deck that features Gardevoir. If we take a look at the deck list, we've got 4 Monkey Dorys and 2 Gardevoir. Alright, like this deck runs Technical Machine, Turbo Energize, to power up your monkeys faster. Without Monkey Dory, this deck is nothing right now. Monkey Dory is the only thing keeping this deck afloat. Probably not, I'm lying. If you take out the Monkey Dorys, you'll just find 4 different cards to put in the deck, and the deck will still be good. But regardless, the deck is really strong. And it is the best abuser of Monkey Dory because you can deal damage to yourself and then move that damage across and then deal a lot of damage. Like, when you promote Gardevoir to the active, you know you are going to retreat it. That means you have a guaranteed plus 40 damage wherever you want, thanks to Monkey Dory. And whenever your Guardy takes a hit from Dragapult for 200 damage, actually, if I have 3 Monkey Dorys set up, you hit me for 110 and hit yourself for 90. Alright? That's the problem with this deck. This deck just has so many answers to everything. It keeps everything in check. The only thing that is not in check is itself. Gardevoir has been the bane of my existence since rotation. Thanks to Refinement and Curly rotating, Guardy has now been able to save almost all of its bench space for the Monkey Dorys. The deck has received the darling treatment from Pokemon for way too long. By that, I mean Monkey Dory was handcrafted for this deck. Monkey Dory should have been a Radiant Pokemon. Like, we had Alakazam, which moved damage counters from your opponent's Pokemon to a different one, and that was a one-off. Now this one moves damage from your side to your opponent's, and you can play 4 of them. So the deck is dumb and stupid. However, thanks to the deck being dumb and stupid, and I'm too stupid to comprehend how good it truly is, thanks to the deck being reserved for players like Mr. Chow, Brent, and Bradner, the only reason this deck is good is because the players playing this deck are really good. This deck also received Clefairy, right? Like, I know Clefairy wasn't really built for Gardevoir, but the thing is it slots so well into Gardevoir to counter Dragapult as well. Like, the deck already had a decent matchup against Dragapult. It was already like a 50-50, maybe a little bit favored into the Gardevoir side. However, now Clefairy just makes it just dumb, because now your Gardevoir can just one-shot Dragapult, right? With no drawbacks. Or your Mew can one-shot Dragapult and spread 6 damage alongside your 3 monkeys that are just chilling on the bench. So the deck has everything it needs to succeed, and that's the problem right now. There's nothing to keep it in check. Like, even a deck such as Grimmsnarl, which is arguably an even better user of Monkey Dory, still folds to Gardevoir. Like, it doesn't have that. I'm pretty sure if we put the best Grimmsnarl player against the best Gardevoir player, the Gardevoir player is going to come out on top like 4 out of 5 times, and that's actually what we saw, right? Like, Piper Lapine fell to Isaiah Bradner with the deck. So I think the only reason this deck has a pretty bad Grimmsnarl matchup is because the lower tier players of Gardevoir aren't able to like pilot the matchup correctly and aren't playing it correctly, so Grimmsnarl's able to run over them. Because the deck is still played by a lot of players. It still saw a lot of representation at NAIC, so I'm pretty sure that this deck is still okay against Grimthy Snison. Just at the lower tables, it's probably taking more L's to Grimthy Snarl than Grimthy Snarl is taking to it. But yeah, that is the end of my Gardevoir round. Congrats again to Isaiah Bradner for taking the win, and congrats to Gardy for being like 12 of the top 8 decks right now. And shout out to Monkey Dory for ruining the game for everyone. But yeah, that's all from me for now, so I'll see you guys probably tomorrow at stream. I stream live every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday on Twitch. Go check that out. Link in description. And also, I have a Discord server now. You can find that in the description as well. And also, I offer coaching. More info in my Discord. Enough with the shameless shilling. Anyway, that's all. Peace.